Sometimes we see turtle down there. There is a very ancient Buddhist tradition that people go for walk, the monks or even the lay people go for a walk in Vipassana. That's one of the Vipassana meditation. Going for a walk and remaining alert. Looking at, you see, there's two schools of thought on this. The one group of people, of Mongol Buddhist people, they just walk with the head down, not to be distracted by anything or anybody. Focusing, being attentive to their walk. They don't want to be distracted by the scenery, by the views, by anything whatsoever. So they just walk. And there is another school that they go for a walk, remaining alert with everything, and yet keeping their awareness, their attention grounded, not letting it distracted by anything, by the scenery, looking at the scenery, and yet not to be distracted by them, just enjoying it and leaving it behind, not recording it. The problem begins when we record the experiences, you see, because every experiences as they come are new, but the moment we record it, the past experiences, we miss the present experience. The past invades the present and carries on into the future. That's why it's important to be in the moment. That's what it really means. To be aware of everything, to enjoy everything, and yet not to be distracted by it, not to record it and carry it in the future. That's what the spirit of Vipassana is. If we could do that, we'll see so many new things that we have missed in the past, and we may be walking in the same path again and again. We may not have been aware of certain trees or flowers or this and that, the call of the birds, and suddenly we begin to notice new things. The trees look more vivid, more colorful. The first school of thought suppresses, controls. But who is the controller? The controller who controls is the control himself. They're not a separate phenomena. But unfortunately we divide the controller and the control, and they never meet. Therefore we can never have experience in the now. Therefore we cannot see anything fully, holistically. Gautam Buddha was never against enjoying life. He never professed against controlling the senses and all that, as people go on talking about Buddha said this, Buddha said that, but senses are the door of perception. We can perceive through the senses. You can take a delight to a beautiful sunshine. You can take a delight walking along the lonely seashore, the trees, the birds, the clouds. Buddha was never against having fun, enjoying life. But when the senses identify with the object seen, where the seer and the seen are divided, identify each other, and it leaves a mark for the future. Suppose I have a great experience of walking here, and what happens, I can record it in my memory. My senses, my senses are fully awakened. I'm enjoying walking here alone. It's so marvelous, incredible, so peaceful. And one day I'll have to go back to the city, in the town, and I begin to crave for this memory, this moment of aloneness, this moment of beauty. I crave for it. But I cannot have it. You see, every experience is new. Even if I come here next time, I may not experience the same experience I'm having now. So something that gives me pleasure, sensually and otherwise, that I want to record it. I want to have it again and again in the future. You see, Buddha is against that, because to him that is the cause of all sorrows, all troubles in our lives. That's what he really calls nirvana. Nirvana means blowing out of it all, blowing out the candle of the light, blowing out of every experiences, and not to carry it, so that we can meet every moment anew, afresh, alive, so that we can live that moment and not miss it out, not try to fill it through the past, which we cannot. And when we cannot have it, our senses demands it, wants it, pursue it, and not having it, not being able to have it, brings about tremendous frustration, sadness, depression in life. Those monks or those people who pursue the first path, which means to look, just to be focused, just to be there all the time, and for that make tremendous effort to bring the attention here and now, by force. Remember, by force. Therefore they never lift their head, they never look anything around them, because they, as I said before, they do not want to be distracted by anything, by a beautiful trees or sunrise or beautiful woman or man or whatever they had maybe. That is not the way to nirvana. That's not the way to Vipassana. It is the second path. That is, in the first, there is only the object. There is subject and object. There is perceiver and perception. There is receiver and the one who receives. Everything begins with division. In the second, there is perceiver and perception are one. Subject and object are one. The consciousness is flowing both ways. The perceiver meets the perception. The thinker meets the thoughts. They are no longer separate. In the first case, the thinker is making great effort to control thoughts. I don't know whether you see the difference. But in the second case, the thinker and thought become one. The consciousness flows both ways. In yoga, this is one of the technique method to samadhi, what they call smriti, recollection. But the subject and object become one. They're no longer going separately, but they become one. I don't know whether I made it myself clear. In the first case, two paths going parallel and they will never meet each other. But unless the two paths meet, there is no new experience. I say, two old experiences, hoping to meet somewhere, but they never meet each other. Whereas in the second case, they both begin. They merge and begin. The observer and the observed merge. Subject and object become one. The consciousness is flowing both way. In one of the ancient esoteric teaching, this is called self-consciousness. They divide consciousness into four. As first one is asleep, which is most of the people are asleep, and there's a waking sleep, which means as we are now, half awake, half sleep, which is the function of the brain really, because brain can never see things holistically, only sees partially. So sometimes we are wavering this way, sometimes that way, sometimes we go back to sleep, sometimes we move towards self-consciousness, which really rarely happens. We can have glimpses of consciousness, sometimes self-consciousness, and the third is self-consciousness, of course. When the subject and object become one, when thinker and thought become one, then we can have this self-consciousness. And the fourth, they call it turiya. There is no name, simply they call it turiya, which is the objective consciousness. Self-consciousness can be lost if you work on it, and if you understand what it is, and you understand what sleep is and what waking sleep is. It is, we live in such a mechanical world. It's everything, all our impressions, everything are conditioned, influenced by outside. So in this state there is no possibility of realizing truth or having joy in the real sense of the word, having bliss. When you see that and work on it, and we arrive at self-consciousness, and if we do not pursue on it, it's possible that self-consciousness can be lost. To make it permanent, we have to arrive at objective consciousness, which is turiya. We call it the fourth, simply the fourth. Reminds me of Blake. He who kisses the joy as it flies lives the eternity sunrise. We must kiss all the experiences goodbye to have new ones. You cannot hold on to certain experiences and say, oh, this is so dear to me, I cannot let go. If you do so, there is no space for new experience to come around. Therefore you mustn't cling to any experiences. Let go. Which doesn't mean to just completely erase from your memory. That's not what it means. It means sorry. Sorry. Means not hold on to it, not cling to any memories, just let go of it. That's what it really means.